Welcome out to our weekly Mastermind call. It is July 20th, and I wanted to take at least the first part of this call and talk to Amanda Roberts, who reached Diamond last month, right, in June? Is that correct, Amanda? Amanda, I don't know if you muted your line. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I got you. You're unmuted on my end, maybe not on yours. Oh, crud. So she dropped off. I can tell she's probably having some problems with her phone, so I'll wait for her to be able to get back on. So hold on while we wait for that. If, by the way, there's a bunch of you on the call, if you have any specific questions for someone who just reached Diamond, in the summer, during and when you're, 8 or 9 months pregnant, that's, I would actually love to know how to do that. Okay. So I'm waiting for Amanda to be able to get back on the call. So hold on, everybody. I'm sorry for the wait. Okay. Oh, there she is. She's back. Okay, Amanda, are you there? Amanda, you are unmuted. Are you there? Oh my gosh. So obviously she's in a bad cell reception area because she keeps on dropping off the call. All right. I did have a plan B, and so we can go with that until Amanda gets back in a spot. So maybe what we'll do is for the first 30 minutes, we'll kind of carry along a mastermind topic, and then at the half hour mark, I can see if Amanda's in a better spot to do that. Okay, so here is the mastermind topic. Last week we did kind of an open line format where people were able to ask questions, and I'm having a hard time remembering the name, but Paul maybe, but they asked a question, which is, how do you get people on loyalty rewards? And I thought that was a fantastic topic just by itself, because this is a huge thing, right? I mean, if you get somebody signed up, that's fantastic, but how do you actually get them on loyalty rewards? So I want to open this up. Let's start talking to, I don't know, let's go golds and above. How do you get people on loyalty rewards? Star 5 star to raise your hand. What is the secret? If you're having a lot of success with that, please share. Okay, Katie, Glasgow, I just unmuted your line. Go ahead.
All right. This is a great question, and it's one that I've actually been doing some additional training with my team on, and it's a kind of a concept on loyalty rewards that I learned from another Blue Diamond about a month ago, and we've had some really great success with it, and that is really showing people and letting them know that we're here to not to add additional cost to them. And we're here to just show them a transfer of savings. So there's 2 ways we can do that. And number one is when you're talking with somebody and you're sitting down with that membership overview, explain to them and tell them, my job is to teach you how to use these oils in your home. My job is to not add an additional bill to your household spending. My job is to teach you how to replace what you're already currently using in your home with these amazing products that we have through doTERRA and how to maximize what you're bringing into your home. So I'm going to teach you how to transfer costs and then save money in your home by using doTERRA products. How does that sound? Okay. So 2 things that I did is I showed them I was going to transfer costs, and I was super excited about the product. So we have to be excited about loyalty rewards. We have to be on loyalty rewards, and then really let our customers know we're here to serve them and that we're here to again, transfer that cost. It's really important to use that terminology when you're talking to people about loyalty rewards, because I don't want another bill in my house. Do you want another bill in your house, Beth?
No. I'm curious I am curious though, like how would you, so how do you go about doing that? I have some ideas, but what are some ideas of things you're transferring, cost transferring?
Okay. So my transfer cost is, so I transfer costs, and then I really focus in on either the 125, right, because we get the free product, but I teach people, let's just start with 50. Okay. Now, we all know that 125 is a much better option because we're getting that free product. But for some people, when you say $125 a month, that like shuts them down immediately. But $50, that's a little bit of a different story, right? And at 50, if we can get them to commit to 50 for 3 months, they're earning loyalty reward points. And sometimes that's an easier transfer for people right away. Okay. So I'm not discrediting 125, but I'm really looking at 50 because the reality is if we're looking at, not that we're doing this for rank, but if we're looking at rank, you can look at some organizations, and if you had everybody, like say you want to hit elite for a month, okay, we're really striving for elite, but we're coming in more at that executive level at $2,000 a month. The reality is a lot of times, if we would have everybody that's not on LRP at just 50, you would be elite.
Yeah, the other thing is that it starts there, but it always grows from there.
Exactly. You know? It grows from there. So a transfer of savings at 50 is pretty darn easy, okay? You can just look at the membership overview. So one of the cool things about a membership overview that I think that you were brilliant when you guys put this together is that like if you look at the eating right section and we've got the LLV and Terrazyme and Lemon and DDR Prime, that equals about 125, right? So that is fulfilling 125. So when I'm going through each of the sections, let's just pull out something that's 50. So if they're not ready for 125, but a health goal is, they want to eat right, improve the way they're eating in their home, then I can say, okay, let's just start on Lifelong Vitality. 60 PV for 3 months. Okay? A lot of people are already taking some other kind of supplement in their home, and by the time you add up all of their over-the-counter stuff, it's about the same price as a Lifelong Vitality. So we've transferred savings, right?
Yeah, you know what? That's a great point because when I first started, I had it's kind of interesting the important conversations that you have throughout your journey, right. But one of the conversations I had was someone came back after researching everything that was in Lifelong Vitality, and they said, actually, I'm spending about $250 a month to get the same amount of benefit that Lifelong Vitality is offering.
Yep, exactly. So that's one way you can just, you can pull out like on the eating right, maybe you just want trim shake. So maybe you want the lemon from one and the trim shake. So we're just pulling things out of each of those categories that are 50 PV, or maybe when I get to On Guard the On Guard line, okay, instead of buying laundry detergent from the store, I'm going to buy it from myself. Or my cleaning products, how can I transfer savings in my cleaning products in? A simple way is lemon essential oil is $10 for a bottle of lemon essential oil. And by adding a few drops of lemon essential oil to your water, how many sodas and juices and things like that can you replace in your home by just adding lemon to your water?
Right.
That's a huge transfer of savings. So just little ways you can everybody can get really creative on that, but really just showing like what am I using in my home that I can transfer to doTERRA. And if we're being good wellness advocates, we've done this ourselves. So we're just telling people my job is to teach you how to do this.
Yeah. The other thing I really like about what you're saying is that if you just get them started, they're probably, you don't have to make them feel obligated to do over 100 PV worth of stuff. If you just say, let's do 50, right. You get all these benefits from it. The fact is that as you go through the member overview, it's going to be at least 50 anyway, and you don't have this pressure right. to feel like they need to do more than that. One of the things when you talk about transfer of costs, you're saying, okay, look, we're going to stop buying these inferior vitamins. We're going to switch over to Lifelong Vitality. We're going to stop using maybe toxic cleaners and things like that, switch over to other natural cleaners. You mentioned cost savings as well. What kind, like the way I've always portrayed that is, like I remember I talked to this one lady who said that she had a chemically induced asthma attack from using cleaners, and the emergency room bill was like $4,000. And I think that one thing that's awesome about what we do is that the alternative, like if you're going to use the alternative option for taking care of your health, it's so expensive that one ER visit, like I told her, I said, that's so sad. I could have fixed it with about 20 cents of oil. And $4,000, I mean, that's $4,000. I mean, that's 4 years of loyalty rewards.
Right.
You know, so what other ideas did you have other things that you did to kind of help people save money?
I have definitely, those are analogies I've used before, but here's a really simple one because I'm a mom that loves to go to Target. And if I'm not going to Target to get all of the stuff that I can buy through doTERRA, I'm bypassing the dollar section and all the other random items that get put in my cart.
So the impulse buying
can relate to the impulse buying. You can relate to that because now I go to Target once a month, and really the only thing we buy is toiletry type related is razor blades and toilet paper.
Right.
Because everything else we can get through doTERRA, and it's delivered right to my door. So that's another thing. It's a time saver. I'm not running around all these different areas. And the reality is that in rural Iowa, where a lot of my customers are, it's an hour to be able to go to a store that has the type of products that doTERRA has, if you can even find one within an hour. Okay, so I'm saving time by having it delivered right to my doorstep. I'm saving money by having it delivered to my doorstep because of transfer of savings of different issues that might come up in my home, but I'm also not running to Target all the time as well. And I'm getting a superior product in my home. So there's so many different ways, and if we understand that and we talk to our customer because we know our customer and we explain to them, my job is to teach you how to do this. I don't just want oil sitting on your house, in your house on the counter. I want to teach you this. It's going to go a long ways.
Gotcha. Perfect. Okay, for those of you who've joined the call, the question is from last week's Mastermind, it came up, how do you get people on loyalty rewards? I've invited anyone who's gold and above to share some insights into what's working for them. Lindsay, I unmuted your line. Go ahead.
Hi. Some things that this is something that we kind of have been seeing a lot in our team because we just finished the thing is when you're enrolling people and you're not taking the time to really sit down and explain how to incorporate doTERRA into their everyday life, the LRP doesn't make sense. So some things that we have started incorporating are, along with everything that Katie said is amazing, and I love it so much because that's pretty much everything that a lot of the things that she said were things that I was going to talk about. But another thing is continuing education. I think that really reaching out multiple times to your wellness advocates and the people that have joined you on this to explain different ways of putting doTERRA in your everyday life. Because once it becomes more of just I have oils and I'll use them when I need them, and it becomes I use all of these products all the time, loyalty rewards isn't something that it's a question as to whether they're going to do it or not.
What kind of continuing education are you doing, Lindsay? Like when you're reaching out to your network, what are you inviting them to, or how are you educating them?
I honestly, I love Sarah. Sarah Schmidt. She just started doing continuing education classes here in San Diego, and I love that in-person idea. But for me, that doesn't work, and I'll just tell you why it doesn't work. Is because I've got a team that's everywhere, and I'm also moving myself. So something that I have started doing is I do a lot of online classes, and it's not the 101 classes or the essential oil classes. It's how to clean with your oils, how to use the oils with your pets, how to stabilize your mood with your oils, how to do, I don't know, it can be anything. So online works really well for continuing education for me and my team. Sometimes, and I post things every single day, 2 or 3 times a day on how to incorporate the oils every day, all day. And my team watches that. They follow it. They ask questions. And that's really what keeps people engaged. I mean, even people that I haven't talked to as often, they'll see something and they'll send me a message and they'll say, hey, I never thought about using that for this or something like that. So it's just showing.
And where do you,
how
and
you
sorry, where did you say you did that? Like where you're posting how to use the oils every day?
I have a public Facebook page that I use, and I also have a team group page. We have one page that is just everyone that has ever enrolled and used the oils. They get added into that. And I do events twice a month, and that's a different topic is covered twice a month. We started that about, 3 months ago? And it's been overwhelming, the response to it. Everybody really loves it.
Okay.
So there's 2 different places that I'm doing it. It's the groups and then the public page.
Okay. Fantastic. So you're using that, and would you before everybody goes out and opens up, starts their own public groups and things like that, I think it's wise to collaborate with your upline or even cross lines, so that you're not giving people 1,000 different places to go, but you're just giving them a handful.
Absolutely, I agree with that. I use just one.
And how are you controlling compliant training online? Because that's really where compliance is the most important, is an online discussion. And so I know a lot of people are scared to do that, scared to do anything online because they're afraid of doing something non-compliant, whereas, it's not as huge of a deal in person. So what are you doing there?
I make sure that I'm modeling compliant questions and answers. And I've also already done my compliance check and things like that. I've got my verified badge from doTERRA to be able to do that. So I think that the way that you model your questions and the way that you model your answers is how to keep compliance not something that's scary. Because we're teaching people how to support different functions and things like that. And it's keeping it in wellness perspective as opposed to treating sickness.
Yeah,
and as long as you're modeling that, that's how your team does it.
Yeah. And so my advice for everybody on here is that make sure that if you're concerned about that at all, just make sure that you're being parts of groups where the stuff that is being posted is compliant. That's extremely important. And so, so I wouldn't suggest everybody go and make their own groups. I'd suggest, like I mentioned before, collaborating with those who are going to be doing ongoing education in that way. Now, Lindsay, you mentioned Sarah Schmidt, and it just so happens that Sarah has her hand raised, and so I'm anxious to hear what Sarah has to say about this as well.
Thanks. So yeah, with what Lindsay said, the continuing education has worked really well for us. She kind of manages the online version because she will be moving. I'm just starting in person in San Diego, but it's nice because my teams that are elsewhere within the United States and whatnot can be on her online. So that works really well for us. I love what Katie had to say about transferring because that's something I've always believed in, really showing what, you're not spending more money if you do it right. But I wanted to back up, actually, why I had raised my hand, is start more at the very beginning when we're starting to build this relationship with people. And we sample them, they come to a class, and really that one-on-one time that we get to dive into why they came to the class to begin with. So why are they there? What health concerns do they have? What are they looking to address? And I've always seen more value personally in the kits because you don't have to pay the $35 fee. However, I'm kind of changing my mind on that a little bit because if we really dig into what people's concerns are, even the smallest kit doesn't always make sense for them. So why should they pay for a bunch of oils if they can only afford $100 a month? If that's it, $35 to get enrolled and enrolling with a couple of oils and setting up LRP right then for the next set of oils that they can afford seems like a better option for some people.
Interesting.
So not being afraid, and then you go right into what Katie said, like they're excited for the membership overview because you're not going to, some people, if it's not set up immediately, they think, oh, I have to buy more and more oils versus we can show them the true value. This is a lifestyle change. This is something you're going to bring into your life every day. And I'm going to show you how to do it. So
one thing
all of it tied together.
Yeah, and so when you enroll someone, the continuing education, this is a real personalized thing with you where you're getting with individuals and you're really putting together personalized health plans for them with the member overview.
Ideally, yes. That is
Good.
the ultimate goal.
Well, there's another side benefit to this that we talked about at the Diamond retreat that Rod hosted last week in Montana, and one thing that I learned at that retreat was that is one of Rod's secrets to success is the actual amount of time that he spent with his leaders, and it was just a great reminder to me, like, oh wow, like the secret to all of this is just spending time, and so don't be afraid to spend the time that Sarah is talking about here with people, because that time always comes back multiplied, because ultimately it's a relationship business just as much as it's an essential oil business, and those relationships can form into long-lasting business relationships that can go further. Sarah, did you have any other things you wanted to share?
That's about it. I appreciate it.
Great points. Virginia Hume, what are your thoughts?
I like what everybody said, but because I didn't come in with being a computer guru, I take the things that you guys put out there, and then that I feel that it's going to work with my group, and then I just send it to my leaders and I say, please share it with everyone that you feel that will benefit with their needs, so that they're always thinking about serving the people they're working with. And then when you came with the membership overview, had that it exploded the amount of people willing to have and maintain LRP orders, because I had that personal relationship, and for the amount of people that are in particular legs, there's a huge amount of people doing the LRP orders, because I sat down and I talked with them and building relationships and helping them connect with their leaders. And when there's a problem and the leader can't solve it, then they come to me. So, but you're right, relationships, tailoring it to the needs of the people at hand, and if the kit doesn't work, don't worry about it. Just help them be successful with the criteria where they can start with. And then having that contact on a weekly basis that first month is really critical.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. In fact, the member overview needs to take place within that first month at the most, but hopefully even within the first week or two of a person being in. Let me just we don't have any other hands raised on this topic, but let me just share with you some things that have been really helpful for me that I've picked up over the years. First of all, make the membership overview a part of every single person's follow-up. So when a person enrolls, it's not a, hey, do you want to do a member overview? It's, this is the next step. This is what everybody does. This is the customer support that we provide. And everybody gets a membership overview. And so make sure that that's the way that you approach it. But things that I've done that have been super helpful is when I use incentives for people to enroll and get on loyalty rewards. I used to give a book out to people about essential oils. I'd give a book out when someone would enroll. I'd say, if you enroll and set up a loyalty rewards order for the following month that's at least 100 PV, then I'll give you this book. And that did work very, very well. And the reason I wanted to make sure they were doing that is because if they're educated enough of how to use the oils, then they're going to reorder the oils. And so I used whatever incentive I was using was how I was doing that. Now, the other thing is that when and then I heard from someone something that got a better result, and that was if you enroll and set up any loyalty rewards, then I give you the book. And so even if they just set up a loyalty rewards with one lemon oil, that was enough. I didn't ask anything more than that. And the reason for that was because I knew that I was going to follow up with them with a membership overview. And so the first thing is I learned not to put such a huge qualifier on it. Like, okay, let's make sure that your second order is 100. Because if I did the membership overview, it happened anyway. Their second order always was for over 100 PV anyway. And so, like Katie mentioned earlier, just let people start with smaller amounts, because as they start to use the products and implement them in their lives and start transferring those costs, then it really is not a problem. I mean, I know that every person on here, like when I got started, at first I was like, oh my gosh, 100 PV, what am I going to order? And now it's like, okay, honey, we really need to keep our order under 400 PV, please. And so anyway, okay. Now, we are at a half hour in, and I wanted to see if Amanda was able to get back on the call. She had some bad cell service before. Amanda, if you're on the call, hit *5* so I can find you. Okay. I think I got it. Amanda, I think I just unmuted your line. Is this you?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I'm on a different phone. We'll see if this one wants to work.
Yeah, thank you. Well, so far so good. So first of all, congratulations on reaching Diamond. Phenomenal.
You.
And I understand that you're just about to have a baby.
I'm overdue. Yeah, we're trying to induce labor now.
Oh my gosh.
Ready for her.
Okay. All right. So we feel very blessed to have you on. So first of all, tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you get introduced to doTERRA?
I was introduced by Katie Glasgow, who was a massage client of mine. I'm a massage therapist. I have been a massage therapist for about 12 years now. And she introduced me to Deep Blue. Of course, that's the one you always want to introduce a massage therapist to. And from there, it just grew into a love of using the oils and trying one by one and having different testimonies and sharing them with friends and family just naturally without any pressure to, sell or be a business partner with her, which I really appreciated. And, the genuineness of this product and the genuineness of this company is what really, drove a business out from underneath this. So it wasn't anything that I wanted to pursue. I did not look at a business overview. I didn't look at, the compensation plan and go, wow, I really want to be Diamond. It was basically Katie had to kind of slap me upside my head and say, Amanda, you're silver. And I didn't even know what silver was. So it just kind of happened.
Okay.
And I encourage people to do that genuinely. Don't focus so much on rank. Don't focus on just genuinely share the product. And that's really how my business got started.
Okay, so I want to get real clear with you on all this because this is awesome. So Katie getting massage from you, and she says, "Hey, use this Deep Blue."
Yep.
And
in fact, it was on her, but it was also for me. And it's one of my biggest testimonies is, the joint pain and discomfort that I was dealing with doing massages for about 12 to 14 hours a day is really what sold me because I had tried so many different things. And so, yes, it was using it on her as a client, but it was also she was caring about me and my discomfort, and that sold me.
Gotcha. Okay, so you start using the oils and you start getting some great success with it. So did you sign up? Where did it go from there?
It's pretty funny. So that was probably about October of 2012, I believe. And I think about February, she finally convinced me to get an account. I I was one of those ones that you're like, gosh, you just struggle with them trying to get them into a membership because I was so burned on anything MLM and didn't want to sell anything to my clients. So it took her a good while to get me into a membership. And then once I got a membership, it probably took another 4 months for me to understand LRP. So I was calling her. And having her continue to order through my account. You know, I didn't even know my password. It was really bad.
Oh my gosh. Hold on. So I'm going to actually bring Katie into this conversation if I can, because I want to understand just one thing real quick. Hey, Katie, are you normally this patient with everybody, or did you see something in Amanda that was like, I'm going to be willing to do some pretty crazy stuff?
Sorry. No, actually, it's kind of twofold. I'm actually really patient with people. I truly believe in planting seeds. My team knows that one of my favorite quotes is, "Judge each day by the seeds that are planted, not by the harvest that is reaped." And so, but the other thing is I do feel I have a gift in knowing like when that person has that special something. And so if it's that person with a certain something, I'm going to be a little bit more diligent and persevering with them.
In the follow-up and stuff. Yeah.
In the follow-up and things like that. And I'm really a big proponent of sprinkling and being diligent. But, yeah, Amanda was definitely one that took a while. But what she's not saying is that when she actually decided to like and use doTERRA, she would have class, like I was doing Diamond Club, and I would ask her to host classes, and she would fill the room.
Okay.
After a while, I had to do all the follow-up, but she would fill the room with people.
Okay, now this is important. Okay, so perfect. So what I wanted to hear is that you did see something in her that was why you, yeah, I get it. Okay. All right. So Amanda, all right. So you signed up, she's making the LRP orders for you. Mm-hmm. And then when did you go, okay, I'm going to start introducing people to this? Or was it, you mentioned kind of this, you were doing out of the goodness of your heart. How did all this go? Explain how it all went.
So I just was genuinely sharing with my clients, with my friends, my family. My family fell in love with it. I have to give a huge kudos to my family because they took off with it. They knew more about the business before I did because I wasn't paying attention to the business, and that was something that my family was interested in. My sister, Katie's amazing, and she was probably teaching business trainings before me, but I just stuck with being genuine and sharing. I had an amazing upline who was helping me with placements. I didn't understand anything to do with placements. Once I went to leadership, that following, after I had hit silver, within, I think it may have been like 9 or 10 months, I hit silver. And Katie talked me into going to Arizona, went to leadership. And you know what? I was trying to think about it today, like what really hit me there. And it was David Sterling, and I will never forget. He said, "We are an essential oil company wrapped up in relationships," and that's what I wanted. I wanted to be a part of that. So it's building into my business. Go ahead.
Let me ask just a couple things to you because this is important stuff. So you've mentioned this statement now a few times where you said, "I was just genuinely sharing." Mm-hmm. How do you mean that? What do you mean by genuinely sharing?
What I mean by that is I wasn't out trying to sell anybody anything. And in fact, I probably, put my foot in my mouth a few too many times by not saying something when I should have, because I felt like it may have been pitchy or salesy. But if someone needed something, if someone was having a difficult time, I was literally giving bottles away, like full bottles, not sample bottles. I didn't even know they had those. And genuinely caring about people, genuinely caring about their health and their well-being. And I believe, just by doing that and being diligent and listening to, my instinct in helping people and being generous, that paid back tenfold. Because then they were coming to me and they were saying, "Okay, so I need those oils. I need to learn more." And I wasn't teaching classes, but I was hosting them, and they were showing up. So.
Right. So basically then, and obviously, did it help that you were a massage therapist and had a clientele of people that trusted you?
It probably did, yes, because they were already coming to me as far as health concerns. I have a relationship with my clients. It's more than customer based. They're my family. My customers, when I moved from California, I cried because I believe all of my clients. So I am genuinely just a caring person already.
Yeah.
And I think they trusted me because I just wanted to always be that honest and open and caring person. So I already had a sense of relationship with them, and they trusted if Amanda's using this, we're on board. So.
Gotcha. Now this, okay, so when you say genuinely sharing, I'm just making sure that everybody understands what you're saying because really all that you're saying is that you look at people as people and you're wanting to help them and you're very generous in like if you had to give away a bottle of oil to help someone, you were willing to do that.
Oh yeah, many, many, many times. I think my husband probably cringed every time I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just didn't care. I didn't care what it cost. I just wanted people to feel better.
Okay, now with that type of with what you're doing there, with that kind of generosity, where did you? So you then, how did it then go from that to filling up classes? So when Katie was calling you saying, "Hey, I want to do a Diamond Club event," how did it go from that to, are you hearing what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
you were just sharing with people out of the goodness of your heart, and then you're filling up classes. How did it do that? What did you do?
People work, and they are still. This isn't just from a couple years ago. People are still curious and want to be educated. And at that point, I wasn't educating them while they were on my massage table. They needed a different avenue to learn, and so I would have classes. I couldn't even tell you, probably at least twice a month, I believe, if Katie would agree with that. About twice a month, so that they had an opportunity to come and learn. And when Katie teaches classes, people sign up because she's just so. And I've thank goodness been able to. She's duplicated me, and I can teach those classes as well. But it's a powerful thing when you get education and you learn about different options that you can be empowered with. So that's really all. People wanted to know more, other than what I was just doing on the massage table, so that they could be empowered themselves and not have to come to me. And I really didn't want them to have to come to me every week to get a deep blue treatment. I want them to have that in their home. So that was kind of how they started showing up.
Right. So now, okay. So while this is all happening, you don't know how to place. You don't any of
Nope.
that, right? So your upline is placing people for you, and so you are just out
pulling her hair out.
Right. So you're out there just loving people like crazy, giving away bottles of oil, and then what that did is it created this network of trust, and so then when you said come to classes, then people started enrolling, and your upline placed them in spots to where you hit silver and you didn't even really know what you were doing.
Absolutely. That's exactly what happened.
Okay.
I had no idea what silver meant, and it happened to work.
Okay. Now, the only reason I want to make sure that this is clear to everybody is because I want everyone out there to realize what it takes to do what Amanda did, and I also want the uplines to realize what it takes to do what Katie did. Because having that type of goodness of heart of just being willing to genuinely share with people out of love and concern for them created a huge network, but you still needed your upline to make sure that you were structuring it properly so that it meant that you could even qualify to go to that leadership event. Okay, so now I've caught back up to time. So you go to this leadership event and you hear David Sterling say that doTERRA is an essential oil company is a relationship company wrapped up in an essential oil company. How was that?
I believe it was, I have it written down too in that leadership book. I believe it was, we are an essential oil company wrapped up in relationships and, or disguised, relationship business disguised as essential oils. But it was so, it just hit me at some deeper level that I was open to figuring out the business so that I could be a part of that.
Right. And so that message resonated with you to a level that where you said, okay, I want to take the business more serious now, or what was the next step?
Yeah, the next step was I finally went to a business training. I hadn't been to one. And Katie was having them like every month on Saturdays at her house, and Saturdays are really busy for massage therapists, so I wasn't going, and I hadn't attended one. And like I said, my family was going to them, but I hadn't. So the next step was I started attending business trainings. I started listening to mastermind calls. I started listening to and following and learning, placement strategies and how to actually enroll someone. I started focusing more on my next goal, my next rank, my top leaders or people who were working with me, and started focusing on their goals. And that's where it just kind of, once I started doing that and honing in on what my people on my front line wanted to do, the people that were putting in buttloads of work and helping them reach their goals, everything just went crazy. I mean,
okay, so this is incredible because what you're saying is that I got to silver by being really kind and helping other people. And then it went really crazy when I helped other people even more.
Right. Yeah, something like that.
It makes me laugh because of the amount of people that come and they say, oh, I could never do doTERRA because I'm not a salesperson. And you're like, yeah, I didn't sell to anyone.
I can't sell anything. I can't sell, and I tell people that all the time. Not a salesperson, can't sell anything. But I can do this business because I care about people. And if that's all you have to know and do is love on people and care about people, anybody can do this business if you're a caring person.
Yes. So you mentioned that you started helping, you identified your leaders. How did you identify who you were going to work with? And then what did you do to help them reach their goals?
So Katie taught me, and this is all, a wonderful part of that duplication. Katie told me, work with the people that are working with you. There was people that I had signed up that had told me, and everybody goes through this, told me, I want to do the business. Oh, I want to make that $1,500 check. Oh, I want to be this. I want to be that. And if they didn't show up, then I would be bummed out, and I'd totally lose my mind. And she's like, stop worrying about the people that say things and start working with the people that do things. So I started focusing on the people that were actually showing up and doing things and getting active and, proving that they wanted to, share and build. I don't even say build. I say share. And then we would just have discussions like, okay, well, what do you need to be happy or what's your next goal? And we just started working, and zoning in on them helped me reach my rank. It was just focusing on them. I think it distracted me away from me focusing on what I wanted, and it still got me where I wanted to be, but it helped me focus on them and where they wanted to be.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So we have some time here, and I'm going to open this up to other questions from the mastermind. Who has a question for Amanda? Because this is incredible what she's teaching us. If you have a question, hit *5*, and I'll unmute your line.
And I have to say, while we're waiting for people to come in, I wanted to say one thing was, back in November, I found out I was pregnant, and Katie was probably one of my first phone calls. And I said, we have to hit Diamond by June because we're going to have a baby. And I just wanted to be solidified by then, and I'd love to walk at convention. So I just started manifesting I didn't have a fourth leg. I only had 3. And by December, the fourth leg had shown up. And I knew it was her. I just knew from the minute I met her. Signed her up, and within 6 months of finally actively doing things, she hit silver. So it's not all me. I can't take all the credit. I have some amazing leaders underneath me and amazing people that have done some amazing stuff. So, but
what you did is what you did is you created an environment that would attract people like that. So I'm still giving you the credit. So I'm going to go to Courtney Moses. Go ahead, Court.
Hey, I actually want to go back to that last part you were talking about, because I think it's really important for people to understand how to attract, builders like that have that desire and, capability to go silver in 6 months, right? So what you said, I manifested it. Would you give us more specific details of like what you did on a daily basis to create and attract a leader like that, and then how you got her started so that she was set off on the right way to go silver in 6 months?
Sure. I wish I had the perfect answer for that. I have to give a lot of that to, God that brought that person into my life. But I manifested it in a way where I wrote it down, the qualities of the person that I wanted to attract. And now you can't just do that and sit on your butt in front of the computer, so you have to get out and actually start meeting people. So I actually went and got a massage. And I started talking to this other therapist. And I did not approach her in the business at all. I approached her in the product and helping me with the product. And she was seeing a response like I know massage therapists are going to have that happen when they start using a product that's new to them. And when she finally got interested in the product, I approached her on the business, which was a huge step for me because I never wanted to talk about the business in that kind of a situation where I felt salesy. And she had told me literally, I'm not doing any MLMs. Like, don't even approach me on it. But I told her, I said, I have to tell you about this because I know what it's like being in your position, not having a retirement, not having an option for days off or sick days. I'm going to tell you about it, not because I'm trying to sell you anything, but because it has changed my life dramatically. I mean, I'm basically retired at 32, and I don't know what I'd do without this company and without this opportunity, so please just let me show it to you. And so she did. She let me show it to her, and, the compensation plan is exciting, so she jumped on board. And there were days, and if she's on the call, she knows, where I pulled my hair out trying to explain things. And try to get her going within 6 months. But we pulled it off, and she did amazing. So the manifestation was really just trying to identify what I wanted or who I wanted. And because if you don't know what you're looking for, how are you ever going to find it?
And then go get a massage.
And go get a massage. That's right.
That's awesome. So, Courtney, do you have any follow-up questions for her?
Yeah, no, I think that's great because I like how you said that it's important to, identify what it is you want, but then you don't just sit at home, like you're active doing things. And I love that you broke through that fear of talking to her about the business, even though you didn't want to. And I think that's part of, again, attracting them. Like you're willing to go after it regardless if someone says no or, if you're scared to or whatever. And so I love that. I think it's great. So when she committed, like what did you, did you talk to her about, hey, I want to be diamond by June, so do you want to be this person? Like how did you know it was her to put on your front line and run with?
Well, and that was, when you put someone on your front line and you're like looking at it at the 13th day and you're going, am I really going to keep her there? I did that, and I sat there and we had phone call after phone call, hours and hours of talking, and you grow that relationship with them, and I told her what my goal was, and I showed her what it would look like for her, and she was on board. From day one when she had the experience with the products and then saw the compensation plan and saw what it could do for her, she was on board and put in the 110% that I asked of her and made it happen.
Hey,
Thank
one
you.
thing I was just going to say, Court, one thing I really loved about it, what she was saying is that at first the person said no and said, I don't want anything to do with network marketing, but she believed. It just kind of goes to show that her passion, and like when Amanda, when you were telling her, this has done such incredible things for me and this is where I'm going. I mean, your passion is what opened up door 3 for her. Like,
yeah,
that door was totally shut, but you actually, your passion opened that up. And I think that's important because a lot of times people go, well, no one's willing to do it. And it's like, well, you have to deliver it sometimes with enough passion that a person goes, oh, maybe I should take a look.
Right. Yeah, and there's so many positives to this business that it's how do you not pass those positive points along? Even if you aren't making a diamond salary, you have positive points to pass along to other people. You know, even if you're making a $50 Power 3 bonus. So don't wait until you're a diamond to pass along those positive things. If you've got a 50 Power 3, you can tell people half my order is paid for just because I love this product, you know, whatever it is. So I hate to, you know, be like, well, when I hit diamond, then I'm retired. There was so many positives before that, you know, that I could pass along to other people. And yeah, I think a big thing of it is being passionate about what you're doing.
I think the other really important thing that you taught us here, Amanda, is, sorry, Seth, I'm totally jumping in, but this is so great, is that when you did find that person that was an option to put on your front line, you said hours and hours, so multiple conversations, lengthy conversations, and you were very clear and direct with her on this is where I'm going and this is what it's going to require of you. And I think that's so important you guys had that conversation because I think it's a critical moment for us to have with people when we're deciding who it is we're going to run with and work with, right? And if you are that clear and direct, like this is where I'm going, this is what it's going to take for you to be there with me. And I don't think that there's enough people having those types of conversations. And so then we end up putting people on our front line that probably shouldn't be there because we're too scared to have that conversation with them. And so I think that's another really fantastic point that you again reiterated and taught us here. I hope people catch that. Anyways, I'm done. Sorry.
I don't blame you. All right, we have a hand raised here. 202 area code ends in 7311. What's your name and what is your question?
Hi, everybody. This is Andrea. I'm in LA, and thanks for all of your shares. I guess my question is, I don't know who it was. There's so many names have been sharing, but about when you were talking, is it Katie who was sharing so many, or not samples, but so many bottles of things, or, you know, what were you sharing that helped people the most? What do people love? What do people get the most out of? Does that make sense?
Yep. Amanda?
Yeah. I would say I probably went through a lot of Breeze. In fact, that was probably one of the biggest ahas. And peppermint, lavender. I mean, the basics are great. Those were affordable enough to where my husband wasn't really rising every time I did it. But Breathe was.
And how were you having them use them, Amanda? Like the Breathe on their chest, or what? I mean, generally.
Yeah, topically diluted was always. I deal with a lot. Okay, so I'm from California. I live in Georgia now, but we deal with a lot of respiratory issues with smog and pollution and everything. So I think I probably gave away a ton of Breathe. And you know the effect of Breathe when you immediately inhale it. I mean, whether they're inhaling it or putting it on topically, it's got that immediate relief, and people couldn't get enough of it. So I know the Breathe was probably one of the ones that I gave away a lot.
Were you finding it? I don't know if it's an LA thing, but so everybody has allergies. Oh no, I can't do that. I'm allergic. Was Breathe one of the things that you could show people that, well, no, maybe if you tried this, your allergies might go away or be eased, I should say?
Yeah, I showed them what kind of relief my husband and I got with it, and it was just more sharing my own personal testimony. It's hard to sell something if you're not using it yourself, or if it's hard to have someone trust what you're giving them if you're not using it. We were using Breeze, a lot. And so it would come up in conversation, and then they would want to try some, and I'd have it in my purse, and I would just give it to them. And then I'd go home and have to get another bottle. But it just comes up in conversation when you're discussing, your own health issues.
Yeah, I think that if there's like a theme of your diamondhood, it's that you took care of people, and so it wasn't necessarily like it was whatever they were suffering with, you were going to help with, and it just so happened you were in an area where Breathe was what was helping them the most.
Right.
Well, Amanda, we have just time for just a little bit more. There's a lot of people that are wanting to get where you're at, and they have all kinds of issues that they're working through. And what kind of advice can you give all of us of if someone were to come to you and say, how do you go diamond? What just kind of end the call on that? Like, what kind of last advice do you have for us?
Oh, that's a big one. There's a lot of different tips and things that I would put out there. I guess something that I've tried to maintain, because we find this happen a lot, and I'm sure everybody on this call has dealt with, is we find orphans. And they will come up and they'll say, I want to be on your team because, whatever reason. And there's a lot of orphans out there. I never wanted to have any orphans on my team. And by orphans, I mean their upline isn't supporting them. They don't have anybody to reach out to. They just signed up. I never wanted that for anybody on my team. I wanted them to have the support that they needed. So I created a community, on Facebook for my team once it got to a certain point. But I think really just having that connection with your team, staying connected with them, keeping them in the loop of different things, being there as a support system or creating and developing a support system. It's hard to take that on when you have a pretty big team, to being everybody's support system, but duplicating yourself into a support system and keeping that connection with everybody. So I never wanted someone to be like, well, I never heard from the person that signed me up again. That they cannot say that on my team, because every single person on my team is connected with me in some way or shape or form. So just staying connected, even if they're just the users, that even if someone doesn't have an LRP set up, I want them to have a source to find resources to continue and develop their journey of health, whether it's they're getting into the business or not, if they're just doing, transitioning their life and their health, they have to have some sort of support. So if you want to do that, you just got to reach out to everybody on your team and make sure that they have that support. Otherwise, they'll fall away. They'll find another team. And I didn't want that to be, the case on my team. So just developing a sense of community, developing a sense of support and camaraderie, I guess, would be a huge point that I would love to get across to everybody in doTERRA, so that I stop running into orphans that are like, I signed up with a person and they never called me again. Following up with those people is critical, so that they don't feel like they were sold something and they have no way of getting any more information on it. That would be a huge part, I guess.
Awesome. Thank you, Amanda. Great. I'm actually so sad that the phone wasn't working earlier, because I could talk to you for another 30 minutes easily. But congratulations on reaching Diamond, especially like to set that goal, say I'm having a baby at this time, I got to be Diamond by then, and then to just go out and make that happen is just extraordinarily inspiring. So congrats, and I really look forward to having you be a bigger part on these mastermind calls, I hope.
Awesome. Yes, I will be there, definitely. My time was so constrained this last few months with trying to get to the goals and everything, but yeah, I'm so excited to be a bigger part and help inspire and do whatever I can to help everybody else on the team as well. And thank you to Rod and Seth and my upline Katie, because I could not have done it without you guys. And my entire team is just amazing. So huge shout out to all of them. But thank you for having me on the call. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you on next week's call.